Alright everybody, welcome back to RW Studios. For today's video, we're going to be revisiting a Q&A from last summer where I answered some questions about freshman year for me as an engineering student at UF. And I'm basically just going to go through, there was 5 questions last year that I was asked, and we're just going to go back and give them a fresh perspective now that I've finished my sophomore year. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Right, so question 1 was, is engineering a hard major? So remember when I filmed this video last year, I was kind of maneuvering around the bush a little when I was answering this question, but now I can answer with confidence that yes, it is a very hard major. And of course, within engineering itself, there's so many different fields like electrical, civil, mechanical, that each have their own varying level of difficulty. Like for me now as a mechanical engineering major, I couldn't really imagine the amount of stress and work that I'd have to put forward if I had switched to electrical. It's just, I don't know. Of course, it's probably something with skill set and stuff like that, but the stuff I hear, it just sounds like a very difficult major. And then of course there's other engineerings that are stereotyped as being easier, like industrial and civil, but each one of them is hard. Just like, as I said last year, each major at college is going to be difficult in its own way, just based on your own skill set. Prepare for lots of math and science, physics especially, but yeah, very much a difficult major. Alright, and then the second question was, how strictly did I follow the model semester plan? Well, having switched from civil to mechanical between my third and my fourth semester, I could say no, I did not really follow it strictly, just because obviously I took some of my civil engineering classes that didn't really carry over to mechanical's model semester plan. So yeah, really, you do get a lot of wiggle room in how you do your own college experience. And I know a lot of people that have taken classes that some might take in their third semester and maybe their senior year and something vice versa. So yeah, you really don't have to follow it that strictly. It's just nice to have as a guideline. Third question was, what classes did I take? Third semester, I took Physics 2 with Calculus, Calculus 3, MATLAB Programming for Engineers, Professional Communication for Engineers, and Technical Drawing and Visualization for Civil Engineering. For those classes, I would definitely say, hands down, Physics 2 was the hardest class. The exams were pretty hard, and the professors were a little hard to understand, so it made for a really difficult combination. I made a video about this a while ago that kind of explains some advice that I'd give to prospective Physics 2 students. So if you're about to take that class, definitely recommend checking that out. So next was Calculus 3. So a lot of my friends were having a debate on whether Calculus 2 or Calculus 3 was harder, and I personally thought that Calculus 2 was harder than Calculus 3. But it seemed to be pretty even split, so I'm equally rivaled in this opinion, but I would say Calculus 3 was easier. It's really just Calculus 1, but in 3 dimensions, and then towards the end you get a little bit of vector field weirdness going on, but the exams I thought were a lot easier than Calculus 2 ones, and it just made more sense to me for some reason. And then my next class was Computer Programming for Engineers, which was a 2-credit class. And I didn't say before, but Physics 2 with Calculus was a 3-credit class, and Calculus 3 was a 4-credit class. So for MATLAB, we basically just learned the fundamentals of the program, and of course this is a really important software for engineering. In terms of coursework, we get a couple projects to practice our coding on, and then towards the end we get the final project, which is 2048. Next class was ProfCom, Professional Communication for Engineers, and that was a 3-credit class. In the beginning I was a little worried because I wasn't really confident in my writing skills, but after the first paper, which was the failure analysis paper, I felt a lot better, and the rest of the class was a breeze. And then finally was Technical Drawing and Visualization, which was my AutoCAD class, and that was 3 credits. And this one was probably my easiest class for the semester. It was completely straightforward. You had 3 labs and 2 exams, and basically you just followed along with what the professor gave you and you'd get an A. In fact, for the labs, they provided videos, and all you had to really do was follow along with the videos to finish the lab. So not that worrisome of a class. But anyways, that made for a 15-credit semester. Moving on to 4th semester, I had 5 classes. I had German 1, Statics, Differential Equations, Baby Circuits, and SolidWorks, which was Computer Graphics and Design. So German 1 was a 5-credit class, and I had to meet pretty much every single day of the week, but I really love learning languages, so this class was amazing, and it was like a nice escape from a lot of the other turmoil that's happening in the semester. It was just like something nice to look forward to. I took this class for my own interests. Obviously, it doesn't really have any requirements in engineering, but I just wanted to learn a little bit of German before my study abroad program, which I just came back from, that was in Germany, and I'm really glad I took the class. So next up was Baby Circuits, which was a 3-credit class. It was very doable. You have some builds throughout the semester, which I enjoyed because it was really cool to see some of the concepts in the physical form. And then at the very end, you'll have a final project, which is basically you do a build, you code it, and then you just write a little bit of information about it. So that was another good class. Next, differential equations was a 3-credit class, and this is another one. A lot of people said going in that differential equations was like the easiest of the 4 calculuses, but I actually thought it was maybe the second hardest behind calculus 2. It was, I don't know what it was. The content was just, it's harder for me to grasp than the calculus classes. And that might just be because it was very calculus 2 oriented, and that was the class I found the hardest of the 4. Next up was statics, which is a 3-credit class, my first mechanics class. So at first it was a bit of an adjustment, especially after the first exam. A lot of my friends had like a small panic attack because we didn't realize that that's how exams were structured. You get 3 questions for the entire exam, and you're graded on your work throughout it. Instead of something like physics, we had like a 20-question exam, and it's like multiple choice, and that's what you get for your grade. But once you get over that adjustment barrier, statics is a pretty easy class, and I think it's supposed to be one of the easiest classes in all of the sort of engineering mechanics classes anyways, so it's good that we made it through. And then finally was SolidWorks. This is a 3-credit class, and it's kind of awkward to say that this was my hardest class for the semester, because technically it should be pretty straightforward. I had a section that was very strict, and the professor expected a lot of us, which is totally fine. I just wasn't meeting those expectations as much as I should have been going into the second half, and I started falling behind, and it started affecting my grade a little. That was truly just me focusing my energy on other stuff outside of the class and then paying the price for it. But I do also know that there are some sections that you don't have to do that much work compared to what we had to do. So it all depends on who your professor is, and yeah, that'll pretty much determine your experience in SolidWorks. For ours, we had every day of lecture, we had to do a drawing for in class and then a drawing for homework. And then towards the end, we had a final project, which was this 3-minute animation we had to make with a partner. So that was all my classes, and altogether that made for 17 credits. Yeah. So the next question is, what was the class I found the hardest? Like I said before, that would go to Physics 2 with calculus. I've already ranted about it before. You can watch my video explaining my experiences in the class, but this is definitely quite a doozy of a class. And then the last question is, did I have time for sports and clubs? Basically just saying, how much free time did I have as an engineering major? After this past year, having been able to socialize with people outside of engineering, I can say that we definitely have a lot less free time than some of those other majors out there. But that's not to say you don't have time for sports and clubs. I was able to get involved in my 3rd semester in CASA, which is the Chinese American Student Association, and the VSO, which is the Vietnamese Student Organization. And I got big littles in both of those clubs and attended some of their shows in the semester. Towards the end of the semester, I joined SACE, which is the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers, which I really like that club because all the people in it are so down to earth and really cool to talk to. So I like to spend a lot of time with them. I also had time to be a Chemistry 1 TA, and I was able to balance it all, but at a price of not being able to do stuff like video games or reading and stuff. And then semester 4, I got a little overboard with my involvement, and it kind of started getting close to affecting my grades. So I did SACE again, and this time I was an intern, which is like they're halfway between being a general member and like an officer or chair member. And we got to plan an event in the semester and meet the other interns and kind of network. It was pretty cool. And then I was also involved in ASCE. I was the marketing and office manager chairs for the club and got to meet other cool people. Unfortunately, I'm no longer civil engineering, so it didn't really help me that as much professionally. Like the third semester, I was kind of loosely involved with CASA and VSO. And then probably my biggest time commitment of the semester was joining Theta Tau. That's a lot of fun, definitely worth it. All right, so that's all of the questions in this video, but I want to end off with a piece of advice which I used last year, and that is to maintain a good work-life balance and to remember the play hard, work hard mentality. Basically, of course, it's really important to devote yourself to your studies and develop yourself professionally in college, but you also want to remember to use the time there to discover yourself and your interests, meet new people, see new things, because that's a perfect time to do it in college. And, just have fun. Don't forget to have fun when you're in college. But anyways, that is the end of this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to be tuned in for the next video, which will be coming out soon. And until then, thank you for watching.